Now that you've worked with inner joins and outer joins, it's time to check out the cross join. Cross joins create all possible combinations of two tables. Let's explore the diagram for a cross join next. In this diagram, we have two tables named Table 1 and Table 2. Each table only has one field, both with the name of ID. The result of the cross join is all 9 combinations of the ID values of 1, 2, and 3 in Table 1, with the ID values of A, B, and C for Table 2. Next, you'll explore an example from the leaders database and look over the SQL syntax for a cross join. Suppose that all prime ministers in North America and Oceania in the prime ministers table are scheduled for individual meetings with all presidents in the presidents table. You can look at all of these combinations by using a cross join. The syntax here remains similar to what you've seen earlier in the course. We use a where clause to focus on only prime ministers in North America and Oceania in the prime ministers table. The results of the query give us the pairings for the 2 prime ministers in North America and Oceania from the prime ministers table with the 7 presidents in the presidents table. You'll now hop into an exercise focusing on a couple of cities in a tribute to the author, Charles Dickens. This chapter closes with a challenge to test your comprehension of the content covered here. Good luck. Welcome to Chapter 3. You made it through some challenging material so far. Keep up the great work. Next are set theory clauses. In this video, we'll focus on the operations of union and union all. In addition to joining diagrams, in this chapter, you'll also see how Venn diagrams can be used to represent set operations. Let's begin with these Venn diagrams now. You can think of each circle as representing a table of data. The shading represents what is included in the result of the set operation from each table. Beginning in the top left, union includes every record in both tables, but does not double count those that are in both tables. Union all includes every record in both tables and does replicate those that are in both tables. This is why the center is shaded black. The 2 diagrams on the bottom represent only subsets of data being selected. Intersect results in only those records found in both of the 2 tables. Except results in only those records in one table, but not the other. Let's investigate what union looks like as a joining diagram. In this diagram, you have 2 tables with names left 1 and right 1. The 1 here corresponds to each table having only one field. If you run a union on these 2 fields, you get each record appearing in either table. But notice that the ID values of 1 and 4 in right 1 are not included again in the union, since they were already found in the left 1 table. By contrast, with the same 2 tables, left 1 and right 1, union all includes all duplicates in its result. So left 1 and right 1, both having 4 records, yields 8 records for the result of the union all. If it were the case that right 1 had these same 4 values and also one more value of 1 for ID, you'd see 3 entries for 1 in the resulting union all. Let's check out the SQL syntax using the leaders database for both union and union all. But first, you'll see one more table in the leaders database. Check out the monarchs table in the leaders database that we will use in examples here. The table lists the country, continent, and the name of the monarch for that country. Do some of these names look familiar based on the other tables you've seen? They should. We'll come back to this. You can use union on the prime ministers and monarchs table to show all of the different prime ministers and monarchs in these 2 tables. The country field is also included here for reference. Note that the prime minister field has been aliased as leader. In fact, the resulting field from the union will have the name of leader. That's an important property of the set theory clauses you will see in this chapter. The fields included in the operation must be the same data type, since they come back as just a single field. You can't stack a number on top of a character field, in other words. Our resulting table from the union gives all of the leaders and their corresponding country. Does something stand out to you here? The countries of Brunei and Oman were listed only once in the union table. These countries have monarchs that also act as prime ministers. This can be seen in the union all results. You've seen that union and union all clauses do not do the lookup step that joins do. They simply stack records on top of each other from one table to the next. You saw with union and union all via examples that they do not do quite the same thing as what a join does. They only bind fields on top of one another in the two tables. The set theory clause intersect works in a similar fashion to union and union all, but remember from the Venn diagram that intersect only includes those records in common to both tables and fields selected. Let's investigate the diagram for intersect and the corresponding SQL code to achieve it. The result of the intersect on left one and right one is only the records in common to both left one and right one, 1 and 4. Let's next see how you could use intersect to determine all countries having both a prime minister and a president. The code for each of these set operations has a similar layout. You first select which fields you'd like to include in your first table, and then you specify the name of the first table. Next, you specify the set operation to perform. Lastly, you denote which fields in the second table you'd like to include, and then the name of the second table. The result of the query is the 4 countries with both a prime minister and a president in the leaders database. Next, let's think about what would happen if we tried to select 2 columns instead of 1 from our previous example. The code shown does just that. What will be the result of this query? Will this also give you the names of the countries that have both a prime minister and a president? The actual result is an empty table. Why is that? When intersect looks at 2 columns, it includes both columns in the search. So it didn't find any countries with prime ministers and presidents having the same name. Intersect looks for records in common, not individual key fields like what a join does to match. This is an important distinction. Let's get some practice.